Hi, I'm Amanda Blitz from CHCH News. This question is directed to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you've been deemed the it girl for Sundance because of your acting in this particular movie and the other on Silent House that you're in. First of all, how does it feel to be deemed the it girl? Prior coming into this, I think a lot of people obviously knew you because of your siblings. So what is it as a young actor, a budding actor, what do you have to do to come out of the shadows of your sisters and make your way?
I think if there is something that's saying that I'm an it girl, then I think what's great about maybe that is it would hopefully get more attention to both the movies that I'm a part of and hopefully help them get distribution, because that's the whole point of being here. And then as for my family, I don't do the same thing they do. Like, we do very different things, but we support each other differently. And so I don't feel that shadow thing that the media assumes. So,
hi, Helen Barlow, Australian Newspapers. So following on from that, is it significant then that you've chosen that you're in Sundance as your big place to show yourself to the world as opposed to the world that your sisters kind of inhabit? And could you say that celebrity is a cult in itself and that you're actively trying to perhaps steer a little clear of it, and have you learned lessons from what your sisters have endured?
well, yeah, I think that's why I probably held off for a long time. I always wanted to act, but I never wanted I never wanted to be a part of that type of media. So I'm an actor. I'm not a brand or personality. So I just I'm happy to be at Sundance because that's where I think you want to be when you're part of something really, really special.
I'm curious, that this is not a large movie. It's a small film. It didn't have the backing of a big studio or anything. Yet you're all quite accomplished. Sean hadn't done a feature previously. What was it that gave you the confidence to sign on to this film and really go there in terms of emotional truth to get the level of performance?
You know how rare it is to read a good script? I know you do. I think there was something about sitting down, and Sean talked about the work that he put into the script. That it's really unusual to read something that has a lucid intelligence. And you know that the amount, you can't necessarily see it all, but you know the work that's gone into it, and you know that your work will be actually made much easier. So I'm sure the same is true for all of us. And of course Sean's short movie, which serves a kind of call it a prequel or an introduction to the story of the feature, which was also wonderful in itself.
Had you all seen the short film before you shot?
Yep.
Not John.
He refused.
Actually, I think even in talking to Sean, he said that wouldn't be important for me, but certainly after we wrapped, I watched it and was hugely impressed and was even happier to be part of this cult that we have, this film.
Hi, I'm Rayanne Rubinstein from Dish Magazine, and I wanted to ask you, John, what kind of research you had to do in order to play the part of a leader of a cult? I mean, I hate to say this, but you were very convincing.
Thank you, I think. My research was simple. It was more of a research by subtraction in a way. I tried to forget everything that I had learned about cults and cult leaders. And in speaking to Sean, we both wanted for Patrick, the character I played, to be a real human being. I didn't want to be a guy in white flowing robes, having people genuflecting and kissing my ring, so figuratively. So for me, it was to try to make the person a human being, and in fact, as a person who considers himself a storyteller, you never play the ending. So if Patrick turns out to be a pretty horrible monster, then my work would be to try to fight that as much as I could, and try to make him a also, you know, for the people who follow Patrick, they're not idiots, and the more convincing I could be as a human being, I think that the better it reflected on the people around me as well.
Just to go back to your question or your suggestion that a lot of accomplished people became involved in such a small movie. I think it's rare to read a great script, but I think it's even rarer to meet a great filmmaker. And somebody pointed out to me today, they made a joke in an interview. They said, it seems like you exclusively work with some of the world's greatest auteurs and borderline films. And
just in case you don't know, Borderline is the name of the company that Sean, Josh, and Antonio have.
And you know,
and just to be clear, Brady has just come from working with Lars von Trier, and of course has played somebody who has broken into homes to kill people before, with a director that people have cited in reference to this film too, Michael Haneke.
And so you know, in about 5 minutes, you can suss someone out, and you know, Sean and I were friends before we started working together, but I try to only be friends with people that I respect. And he's incredibly sharp, and I like that he makes sharp films and tough movies. And he makes such serious films, but he's not a serious man, and that's an incredible quality. I was really struck yesterday at the screening that Sean introduced the film in such a humble fashion, and then such an accomplished piece of work followed his introduction. So, yeah, I mean, we meet a lot of morons, so it's really nice. It's really nice that people are making movies like this in America, and it seems to almost exclusively be happening with this company.